Deep Rock Galactic is an action-packed dwarven mining game where your objective is to complete missions given by your corporate overlord within a reasonable time. But what happens when the time needed isn't reasonable? Hiya, it's me, Eon, also known as Squared Null or Null Squared. On this journey today, we're going to be tackling one of DRG's rarer achievements. The roller coaster achievement on Steam is acquired by grinding on a pipe for 120 seconds without stopping. Only 3.8% of players have this achievement, surprisingly. In comparison, the Silver Tier Employee achievement is had by 6.0% of players. In any case, 120 seconds would most certainly require quite a long rail, though as a certifiable masochist from previous endeavors, I'd say I'm probably up to the challenge. But how does all of this work exactly? In Deep Rock Galactic, there is a mission type known as on-site refining. These missions require you to build pipes between a Morkite refinery and 3 separate pump jacks. What tends to be most memorable about these missions is the ability to ride the pipes to vastly increase mobility for the 4 classes in the game. And also, it's just plain fun, to be honest. In most cases, pipes will usually only run for a short distance and can be cleared within less than half a minute. So, creating a pipe that lasts at least 2 minutes is certainly an undertaking. It's safe to say that proper preparations will be needed for this. Once I get myself the loadout that I like, as well as the mission that suits my desires, I grab myself an ale, and take a bit of a dance break, don't tell management please.
Classy move, Steam. Now quit it.
And head on down into the depths below. The actual mission itself begins quite similarly to most of the stuff in this game. And by that, I mean exterminating the peaceful wildlife. It's later in here that I notice some sick creatures moving out and about, so I purge them the way any outbreak should, with foam. So with that cleared, I move on to the main attraction of all of this. Though I'm finding it really hard to focus on actually getting the pipes into position with whatever the loot bug population here is doing. After I give out some pets, I drop in the last of the pump jacks and prepare for what will be my greatest task. For the grand undertaking that I've set out upon, I thought that such a pipeline would need to be able to take in some of the sights of this cave. As such, we begin by doing a quick drill upwards and then set up the pipeline upon the thin walkways. This isn't enough for such a masterpiece, though, so we take our journey further beyond as we now snake our way up the grand hole. Unfortunately, the safety requirements here aren't the best, so I take a tumble downwards. But a fall can't stop this determination. So we once again continued the adventure up, and then down again, and then back up, and then we go further on upwards. I meet this chill glyphid. Yeah, this segment was really tedious if you can't tell already. Much later in, we finally reach the upper boundaries of this cave. It's also here that I take a bit of a misstep and tumble on downwards. Thank everything for your existence, Ironwill. Now, those that have played solo before may have noticed that I do not have the trusty companion Bosco around. This is intentional, as even though Bosco is the best, they just told me down. Regardless, with Ironwill used up, I now have to be extra careful of making mistakes. After digging into the bedrock far up above for a bit, I turn my attention to going back downwards as there's clearly no sights left to see up here. While checking the map scan, I notice a strange patch of terrain, and after nearly falling to my death for a second time, I see that it is indeed another death hole like the one we saw from before. Several minutes later, I managed to lead the pipe to one of the pump jacks. Now, normally one could call it quits here, as I already have a long pipe. So obviously I decide to connect it and— no, that's lame. Of course I'm not going to do that. Instead, I lead it around it and take it through a new path in a separate corridor. Well, we're already at the second pump jack, so I'd say our pace is good so far. But this isn't the pipe that I want, so I'm just gonna circle around it again. You know, at this rate, I feel like I can complete this pipe within the next 15 minutes. Surely, I'm not gonna create another stupid addition to this entire thing. Yeah, I created another stupid addition to this entire thing. So, after sneaking the pipe within my newly created sanctuary, I move it around the third pump jack here. There's no way what I have is good enough just yet. I feel like we haven't seen enough of the refinery itself, so why don't we switch things up with the cave sites and show this off instead? Now that I think about it, I haven't really explained just what is going on during all of this construction. Swarms happen every once in a while, and whenever that happens, I have to drop everything and deal with that. This means that my experience in this entire thing is as follows. I build part of the pipeline, I get hit by a swarm. I build another part of the pipeline, I get hit by another swarm. I build yet another part of the pipeline, I get hit by yet another swarm. Anyway, where were we again? Oh, right, the pipeline. At this point, I've decided that we have yet to see what lies below this accursed place. And after digging downwards, I can firmly say that there is basically nothing at all here. I decide to go through with a quick test run of the pipeline, but at the end of the ride, I get the achievement that I was after this entire time. Which, well, kind of makes this anticlimactic, but hey, isn't that neat? So we return the pipe to the above segment of the underground mission and move it throughout some corridors, eventually reaching the Sacred Pearl and creating a viewing path around it. But what else could we possibly do here? And there we go. Finished. Alright, I still have to build it too. Well, since this entire segment would end up being like nearly an hour of building, I might as well take this time to add in some personal thoughts. First off, I'd like to thank everyone, subscriber or not, that keeps coming back to watch whatever I put out regardless of what it is, and for those that leave supportive comments. Even comments that simply offer a suggestion or two help greatly, and I really appreciate it all. Heck, even people that leave something as small as a single like do a lot to help my motivation. But honestly, I'm not quite sure what content to put out going forwards. As enjoyable as the can you beat stuff can be, I honestly really don't want it to be the only thing I do. I mean, it's not as if I'm gonna abandon all that though. I still plan on doing more dumb challenge ideas in that area, both in the Devil May Cry games and elsewhere. But I kind of wanted to try something different with this video here, and my only hope is that so far it's been entertaining in one way or another. I'm not sure if I'll keep doing stuff like this. This might kind of just be a one-off thing, to be honest. In any case, thanks for listening to me ramble on about all of that. Regardless of if you're someone who subscribed and has been sticking around since my original DMC2 video, or if you just found this one randomly, I'm glad you've stuck around this far. But anyway, where were we again? Oh neat, we just finished building the pipe. And it didn't take that long at all. Now, before we finish up the rest of this mission, let's go for a ride and take in some of the sights. Excuse me for a second. Yep, that was worth the 3-hour wait. Well, I think we did what we came here for, so let's get the rest of this done with. The rest of the refining process is really easy, but then again, it is Hazard 3 difficulty, so this is expected. After repairing a bunch of pipes and watching as the random percentage in the corner grows to 100, the process finishes and I decide to take a view of the entire map and the pipeline itself. Never have I seen this level of efficiency in my life. The refinery is then sent into the heavens above, but wait, I forgot the Pearl! And it is then, with 40 seconds remaining, that the Pearl and I take our seats within the rocket and we blast ourselves into space. It seems that with that, this journey has come to an end. You know, I feel like I've learned a lot on this, but nothing speaks more to me than the stat screen at the end. Honestly, we need more 3.5-hour missions in life. I've become quite enlightened. Now, was this entire thing needed to get this achievement in the first place? Well, considering that 120 seconds does take a while and overall you do— No, of course not. Just build a slow pipe that goes up a lot and you'll get it in like 10 minutes. But hey, thanks for taking this journey along with me. It's certainly been quite a bash, and I hope to see you on the next adventure.